So my name is Scott Yappen. I'm with Caterpillar Incorporated as an energy as a service part of our business. Cat, many folks know Cat, and I enjoyed talking to folks around the world because I lived in Geneva for a while. And many of the folks I would see around the world says, "Oh, you make work boots, right?" Or you make shirts. And some people don't know we make engine generators. Some folks know we make resource industry trucks and excavators. Some folks know we make construction equipment, but nevertheless, we're a global company with business interests in almost every country in the world and production facilities in most continents. 2022 revenue of near $60 billion. And I happen to work in the electric power generation business. So hopefully that's what you tuned in to listen to today. I want to talk about a customer that is in Guadalajara, Mexico, by the name of Flex Limited today. And before I get started, were we there, Sarah? Any progress?
Almost.
Okay.
Give me one second. I'm downloading the presentation.
Okay. So in our engine generator side of our business, we make literally thousands and thousands of engines that are installed around the world for power generation, from electric power standby and emergency power to prime power applications, from peak shaving and economic dispatch to continuous power CHP applications. We use engine generators. We also have a brand called Solar Turbines that makes combustion turbines based in San Diego, California. So big interest in the cogeneration world, and appreciate Hans giving us a chance to talk about an application that is more of a tri-generation, as one of the previous speakers just mentioned. Yeah, there you go, Sarah. I can see that. First slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so Flex Limited, and thanks for everybody for waiting. Sorry about the technical difficulty. Flex Limited is an outsourced manufacturer of primarily electronic products for lots of different industries. You can imagine folks who want to get to market fast with a product and they don't have the ability of the supply chain and the ability to manufacture. They'll search for companies and partners like a Flex Limited to help them not only with conceptual design of a product. Let's say in the healthcare business, let's say you've got electronics for a sensor for a diabetes delivery system, or in the automotive business, you're looking at electric cars and you need a control system, or say in IT, maybe a router, or even consumer goods, they'll make hair straighteners, hair dryers, vacuum cleaners for other companies. So this is a type of company that Flex Limited is. Their last year's revenues around $26 billion a year, doing business and creating things in 30 countries. This particular facility in Guadalajara, Mexico, in the Jalisco state, was built in the 1990s. It's about a 2 million square foot facility, manufacturing everything from routers to other things. And they've got several thousand workers at this facility. And back in the mid part of the last decade, with the Mexican wholesale electric market changes that occurred, it opened up opportunities for distributed generation projects like cogeneration. And Flex, if you can move to the next slide, please, Sarah. And Flex elected to look at cogeneration to make this particular facility one of their most competitive from an energy standpoint around the globe. And it was commissioned, a project commissioned in 2016, and it's been running flat out, since then. Couple of things about it. It's got two Caterpillar natural gas fueled generator sets with a nameplate of 4 megawatts. So 8 megawatts total nameplate. But after subtracting parasitic electrical loads like radiator coolers and other electrical equipment, we're looking at around 3.75 megawatts each, or around 7.5 megawatts total for the two engine generators. And you can see one of these here in the right side picture. They're built in Caterpillar's Mannheim, Germany facility. looking at a 16 cylinder per each engine. These generate with frequency of 60 hertz in Mexico. So for some of you outside of the rest of the world with 50 hertz, these are 60 hertz. And these are very low speed RPM engines rotating at a speed of 900 RPM with a heat rate in BTUs of fuel for each electric kilowatt generated of less than 7,800 BTUs per electric kilowatt per engine. On the thermal side, there's a absorption chiller connected to one of the engines today with plans for an additional one in the future that produces base load refrigerant tons for the facility. The CHP design recovers waste heat from, again, one of the engines at about 900 tons of chilled water, looking at around 10 to 10.4 degrees Celsius inlet and 7 degrees C outlet on the chilled water. And again, plans to add a second chiller in the future and possibly an additional engine. The CHP provides baseload energy. This particular facility has a peak load anywhere from 9 to 14 megawatts, as I'm told, with the CHP producing around 7.5 megawatts of that. Again, it's operation since 2016 with a really fantastic uptime of the CHP equipment, including the generators, producing energy well over 95% of the year. In fact, the last 2 years, which is, I guess, the fifth and seventh year of operational for the CHP, we've been looking at over 96.5% uptime for the entirety of these last 2 years. So the customer is seeing something that they really wanted to see, a very reliable system delivering energy at a very, very high heat rate, or sorry, low heat rate, high efficiency with those engines, 43 to 45% on a lower heating values in that ballpark. So very high electrical efficiency and delivering waste heat to energy for their cooling needs and their baseload cooling needs of this facility. Again, 2 million square foot facility. To the slide, the CHP plant generates now around 35% of the plant's energy consumption, 77% overall efficiency with electrical and thermal, with a sustainability stat that they really like at Flex of 20,000 tons of CO2 reduction. So as some of the speakers said earlier, we get a lot of great energy technical advantages out of CHP, but more and more these days, and as Tom Smith said earlier, the sustainability look, where Tom mentioned we're looking at a hydrogen, project in the future using hydrogen fuel to reduce emissions. This CO2, greenhouse gas, sustainability initiatives for all of our customers are so important, and CHP really delivers on that front. From a green perspective, great. From a economic perspective, the payback was less than 48 months, so the first 4 years, so around 2020 with a payback on this project. And now since then, saving 40% on the utility electric costs. This is delivering savings depending on the natural gas fuel costs that are volatile up and down in Mexico, anywhere from nearly $1 million or $1.5 million a year in savings on energy. So very, very important, economic payback for the customer there. And it's such an impressive result for this customer that they'll be commissioning a second CHP plant at another facility in Mexico here this year, similar in Tijuana, Mexico. Okay, next slide, please. So this project was delivered by the local Caterpillar dealer in the area of Mexico where Guadalajara is, in Jalisco, called Traxa Energia. Traxa is the Caterpillar dealer locally with personnel, parts, service locally in that area of Mexico. And they won the contract to do multiple things, to design and build the facility, which they constructed and delivered in just about 1 year's time from contract. It was very expedited back in 2015-16 when they wanted to do this. So it took about 12 months from contract to commissioning. And that was part of the guarantee that was delivered by Trax to the Cat dealer. And then once the project was commissioned and up and running, Traxa handles all of the operations and maintenance on a 24/7 basis with personnel at the site to make sure that the project stays available and delivers energy at a maximum point. And as mentioned before, they're looking at some years 99% uptime. In the last couple of years, 96.5 and 97% uptime, respectively. And again, the second CHP plant will be supplied to Tijuana later on this year for Flex. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of specific information on a project. My colleagues who delivered earlier had some good information on CHP, which I think doesn't need to be reiterated, and some of the things about the values that CHP delivers that were mentioned by Tom and then the previous two speakers. So I couldn't reiterate that more. CHP is a fantastic energy efficient use of fuel. It enables customers not only now to use natural gas or whatever fuels, biofuels, alternative fuels that they might have, and it enables them to potentially switch over in the future to fuels of the future like a hydrogen or others. So with that, I'll give my time back to next slide, I guess is the final slide, Sarah, and give it back to Hans.
Thank you, Scott. Also a very interesting presentation. As you can see, we were trying to get snapshots from around the world, and we've had an opportunity to look at Europe, North America, and Central America with these three different case studies.